Thanks for joining us on Backwoods Pursuit. Today we're going to do a First Lite Jacket review. Some of these are First Lite 2019 product line products. Some of them are going to be ones that have been around for a while, like the Compadre Jacket, and the Guide Jacket was around last year. We're going to look at both of those, as well as the Catalyst Jacket from last year, and some of the others here, the Sawtooth, and as well as the First Lite rain gear. We're going to look at particularly the jackets there as well. Going to go through the sizing on each of them, the uses, the potential uses, as to help you build your own kit so you can put the right layers in your hands for when you're out there in the field. So come along as we do that. We sure would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button for us. Follow us on our Facebook and Instagram accounts, Backwoods Pursuit, and over on our website, backwoodspursuit.com. Let's go get started. First jacket we're going to look at here is the Guide Jacket from First Lite. This is, of course, the same material, very similar in feel, and basically the same thing as the Guide pants. This was new last year in 2018, and sizing wise for me, I'm typically a large in most of the First Lite jackets, and so in this one I did get a large for the purposes of just trying this on. The Guide Jacket does come with a hood, and it's one of those jackets that it's not particularly warm. It's a better windbreak than some of the merino products, of course, but it's going to give you that tough, durable layer if you're going through some thick brush, that sort of thing. Not a huge warmth layer, but one that can protect some of your other clothing or give you that windbreak. It's got the DWR coating, so you have that as well, that can help protect against some moisture, not heavy rain, of course. But sizing wise, the large here, this is designed and built to layer underneath just a little bit. So I've got plenty of room in the large here to add a little bit of layers underneath. You're not going to layer a ton underneath this, or you wouldn't need to, but you got plenty of room in the large. I'm about 5'11", about 185. The arms are about the perfect length. So it's really a good fitting jacket, one that's really comfortable. It's not going to inhibit you drawing. It's got a lot of stretch, of course, so I'd expect this one to be very comfortable, and it is. So that's the Guide Jacket. Let's move to the next one, a little bit heavier, in the Sawtooth. Next up, in what I would consider the next piece in warmth over the Guide would be the Sawtooth jacket. It's a hybrid jacket. It's part merino and has insulation in the chest portions and down part of the arms here, but it's the back of it is merino, and so it's a hybrid jacket. Now in this one I also went with a large for sizing purposes. I had started with a medium because some of the base layers I will wear a medium in. But this one I tried the medium and it was too small. So in the Sawtooth here, went with the large here, and you'll see that the fit it's a very different fit than the Guide Jacket, in that even the large here is a little bit more snug on me. It's meant to be tighter. You can see the arms are real tight. So if you don't like that, this might not be the jacket for you. It's kind of meant to be a part of a layering piece, but it's not something that is necessarily designed to layer a bunch underneath. You do have the insulation here, so you can hear that's a little bit louder, that portion, than the arms here. The insulation goes down the arm right here, up on the shoulder, on both sides. So it gives you the insulation there where it's going to keep you warm. This is good for hiking if you're real active. And it's nice that the back of it is not insulated, so it keeps your back cooler where your backpack might be. So it's nice that way. It does have the thumb loops if you need to layer, because that merino can get sticked to other clothes when you're trying to pull it over the top of this. One thing that is different about the Sawtooth that I don't particularly care for is the stitching up here on the back. It feels a little odd. I mean, you get used to it fairly quickly, but you first put it on, it just feels a little different, a little more restrictive for whatever reason. And the arms, you can see here, the arms are plenty long, actually too long. I have fairly long arms, so I typically don't have if any issue with arm length, it's because they're too short. So they do tend to bunch up at the end here a little bit. So not my favorite piece, but it definitely has its uses. I used it a fair amount last year, and it was real nice when you're hiking in and real active, because it does breathe really well. So like I said, it's plenty comfortable enough, but a couple of things, if I'm being nitpicky here, the arm length here, and then the stitching on the shoulder where it goes from the insulation to the merino. The stitching's a little bit bulky, and just you can feel it there, whereas with any of the other pieces from First Lite I haven't had that experience. So Of course, front pockets, everything else fits really well. It's a nice piece. Just depends on, this is one of those pieces where you have to decide if it's going to fit into your kit or if it's worth having around, because it's not the lightest piece either. So let's look at the next one here. That's going to be the Brooks. Next piece in the jacket line here from First Lite is the new Brooks down sweater, and this is, I believe, 850 fill, 37.5 treated down. So you do have that on the interior. It does resist some of the moisture if you were to get it wet. It's super lightweight, I think 10.9 ounces or 10 point something ounces for this jacket. So it's really a lightweight jacket, really compresses down nice. It's surprisingly warm for how light this is. It's definitely not as light or not as warm as the Uncompahgre. I definitely have noticed that when I've been using this in cooler weather. When it gets down, you know, below 40 degrees, you can tell that you either want to start layering under this or grab something a little bit warmer, but it certainly can be accomplished there. Now with this one, I went with a large, and because the Brooks does fit a little more snug, whereas with the Uncompahgre I went with a medium. So sizing on this, a large is spot on for me, as with most of the First Lite jackets here. So if you watch the other video on the Uncompahgre versus the Brooks versus the Uncompahgre, you saw that, you know, there was a difference a little bit in the color of this jacket. For whatever reason, the print turned out to have a little bit more of a, I don't know, maybe a bluish hue to it, but it's not quite the same as the rest of them. So for whatever reason, that print didn't translate exactly the way some of the other ones did. But this is an awesome jacket. I'm excited to use it. It doesn't restrict at all here. Fit is perfect on the large for me for this. So great early season jacket. You can layer underneath, grab some of the other pieces, put it underneath, and you have plenty of room in here to do that. Fit is awesome. The arm length is really good on these. It's not too long like with the Sawtooth for me specifically. Otherwise, it's just a really good fitting jacket, one I'm real excited to try and use this year. Let's look at the next one here, the Catalyst. Alright, so the next one in the line, this is the soft shell, this is the Catalyst jacket. As you can probably tell instantly, it's quieter than, definitely quieter than the Brooks, and obviously not quieter than the Sawtooth. Sawtooth is merino, or at least partially merino, but it's super quiet. So if you want a soft shell, if you like soft shells, this is a great option. It's fleece lined, and so but you don't have any insulation here, so it's not a particularly warm jacket, but one that is going to be good for, you know, wind breaking, as well as some water. It does have the DWR treating, but I know that eventually you are going to get wet if you stay out in the rain for a long time with this, so you want to throw a rain jacket in if you're going to be out there for a while in some wet weather. But this will repel for a bit anyways in some wet weather. So on this one, the sizing of course does have a hood. Sizing on this is a large again for me. After 2018, last year, when they resized some of their jackets, or a majority of their line, I seem to be a large in most of the jackets now, and with First Lite and the under or the base layers. So that's nice, whereas I know that was a challenge previously. So this one is designed to layer underneath. You've got a fair amount of room, not too much, but plenty of room to layer underneath, because this is meant to go over the top of maybe the Sawtooth or the Brooks or the Uncompahgre even. So you've got a little bit extra room in the arms, but not too much. It's still articulated, so you can still archery hunt, bow hunt with this and not have it get in the way of your draw cycle. The arms are again perfect on this one, so that's a huge improvement there. The hood is nice as well. It's just a really good fitting jacket. It's not too restrictive, but gives you plenty of room to move without being too bulky either. So this is a good mid to late season type of a jacket, one you can layer underneath, or it could be early season if you wanted to, but it just doesn't breathe quite as well as some of the others, just because it's a soft shell material, and it's going to be a little bit less of a type of jackets you'd want to use when you're hiking up the hill, that sort of thing. So let's look at the next one, the Uncompahgre. The last insulating piece we're going to look at here is the First Lite Uncompahgre jacket. Now this one has been around for a while. It's tried and true and loved by a lot of folks. Something that's usually in my pack when I'm out there, just to have it as my insulating piece if the temps really drop off at night, or something where I want to jump in the shade and take a rest during the afternoon, something like that, and the temperatures are cooler. It's just a great piece to have. It compresses down really small, and it's just lightweight. I believe just under 18 ounces for this one. and it's really an awesome insulating piece. Now in 2018 they redid some of the fabric on here. I believe it was 2018, and it's now a little bit quieter than some of the earlier models, so it does have a little bit of noise to it, but it's really not bad. It's quieter than the Brooks, I would say, by a little bit. And so it's a great jacket. It's really warm for how heavy it is. Now, one odd thing about the Uncompahgre is the sizing. And this one I wear a medium for whatever reason. The medium it just fits me perfectly. A large would be too big for me, of course, but it fits the same, almost identically, as a large in the Brooks and a large in the Catalyst. Pretty much all the other jackets. So for whatever reason, a medium is perfect in this. The arm length is really good on these jackets, not restrictive. You know, they've got the pockets here, the really comfortable hood, articulated hood as well. The tapered sleeves, just like all of the First Lite jackets here. So really like this, and this is just one of my favorite jackets in the First Lite line. It's really going to be something that is in your pack a lot of the time. So that's just, you know, my personal preference. And where we hunt out west here, a lot of times they can get real cool at night, and so you need something you can throw on that is going to keep you warm in those situations. Now, sorry I don't have one of the new Chamberlain jacket or the Sanctuary or one of the other warmer pieces that just came out here. But these are the ones I had on hand to run through on the video and sizing. But let's take a quick look at the rain gear, the rain jackets, the Seak and the Vapor. Now first let's look at the Vapor jacket, the Vapor rain jacket. So this one is, as you know, ultralight. It's really thin, but it is very waterproof. It does a good job that way. It's meant to be something to throw in your pack that is just really ultralight, and just to have there in the event of some rain showers that are unexpected, or if you're going in the backcountry, something to keep the weight down. So in this one, I wear a size large, so it's consistent in the sizing that way, even though it does fit a little more on the snug side of the size large, but it's kind of what it's designed to fit that way. But it fits great. As you can tell, it's a rain jacket, so it is a little bit noisy. It's tough to make rain gear that's lightweight that is not a little bit noisy anyways. But size large does give me plenty of room here. You got the same the sealed zippers, but you got plenty of room here to put some layers underneath this. The sleeve length is great for me in the size large. Don't have any issues there as far as being too long or whatnot. And the hood, of course, is comfortable. With the First Lite does a great job with their hoods also. You got the zippered cuffs here. You can cinch that down, and then elastic on the other side right there. Otherwise, it's a rain jacket. There's no pit zips or ventilation that way with the Vapor, because the point in this is to be really ultralight. And because of that, you know, the material's thin, so you want to be careful if you're brush busting, that sort of thing. Then this would get torn up relatively easy, at least compared to the Seak. So something you want to keep in mind if you're going to be doing that kind of hunting, or that kind of working through some thick brush where there's burrs or anything like that. You may want to steer away from this one, because it would probably get torn up a lot quicker than the other one. So let's take a look at the Seak. Last up here, let's look at the Seak rain jacket. Now this is they're just their thick, burly rain jackets. It's a lot thicker than the Vapor. It's got some of the same features here. You got the Velcro on the sleeve, but there's no elastic there, so it's fully adjustable that way. Of course, the same hood. You do have on this guy, you do have the pit zips under here, so you can ventilate underneath the arm. So it allows you to control the temperature on the inside, because as we all know, the challenge with rain gear is not sweating from the inside and getting the inside of the jacket wet based on that factor. Now, one odd thing about the Seak here again is this is a size medium. So we're a large in the Vapor, a medium in the Seak, and a large in most of the other jackets, but not in the Seak. So this one fits more like a large. I could go large. On the underpits here, it's a little bit tighter. But it fits just fine. If I were to go large on this, the sleeves would be just too long. They're about perfect as they are right now in the medium. And so if I were to go large, then I would have way too much material out here on the cuff of the sleeve. It's got plenty of room to layer underneath this if you need to. It's again got the sealed zippers here all the way around. And so, I mean, there's a lot of room here. I can layer pretty much everything I need to underneath this, and it's got a lot of space that way. Hood again, good hood. Same First Lite hood, and the sleeves are still tapered, so you can still use this with your bow if you needed to, or of course rifle season, that sort of thing. So it's a great jacket, a great thick and durable jacket as far as rain gear. So that is the First Lite Seak rain jacket. It is definitely your go-to for, you know, if you're in Alaska, if you're in Washington where you get a lot more rain, it can rain for days on end. This is going to be the one you probably want to reach for. It's durable, and it's just going to do a better job of keeping rain out long term, and it's going to hold up a lot better for you in that thicker stuff as well. It is a little bit heavier, of course, because of that, but it gives you the pit zips so you can ventilate and keep the inside of the jacket dry and free of perspiration that way. So that's a rundown of the First Lite jackets that I had on hand here to go over with you and go through the fit and the sizing of each of them, some of the uses. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time.